Ooh, yeah, it's alive. All right. Um, what's up, y'all? Hello. Live, live, live. Yes, live. What's up, y'all? Who all is around these days? Let's pull up this article real quick. I'm going to be talking about this article, and it is about. I read this 2 days ago. It's about the African Union allowing Israel in as observer status. I just wanted to really quick talk about this. I'm doing a million things right now. Here we go. Come on in, guys. I'm trying to just pull this up because this was a crazy story when I ran into it yesterday, and people are talking about it up until today. I'm in a construction site. So this is a crazy story the other day. I'm in a construction site right now. About to read this article that I found on Al Jazeera. Let's see. I can read it to you guys. All right, let's see. So you guys can see this yourselves. I'm going to. It's just not the best here either. This one's. Let's see which window I can share right now. I would like cartel. It's kind of high up. Um, I'm in a construction site, so I'm redoing some apartments here. And I'm up here. All right, guys, here is the article, and I'm going to read it real quick, just so you understand what's going on here. Shocking. South Africa slims Israel's AU observer status. And so this came out, I'm pretty sure, yes, yesterday, July 28th. Al Jazeera put it out. South Africa backs the Palestinian cause. That's the picture that they're showing right there. You see the African Union emblem right there, up on the top left hand corner, above the. I guess I don't know what this body set it up, but It says South Africa's government says it was appalled by the African Union's Commission decision last week to grant Israel observers. In a statement published on Wednesday, the South African government said the unjust and unwarranted move was taken unilaterally without consultations with its members. Israel observed observer status on Friday, like this past Friday, guys, after 20 years of diplomatic efforts, which were pretty much unmatched, like it's new today. It had previously held the role at the Organization of Africa Unity, the OAU, but was long thwarted in its attempts to regain it after the OAU was disbanded in 2002 and replaced by the AU. According to the Israeli Foreign Ministry, the new status could enable Israel and AU to forge stronger cooperation on various aspects, including the fight against the coronavirus and the prevention of the spread of extreme terrorism on the African continent. So if you're reading that right, guys, then you know what that means. But the South African government said the African Union's decision is, quote, even more shocking by destructive bombardments and continued illegal settlements of the land. When it says in May, tensions between Israel and Hamas, the group governing the Gaza Strip, over the forced expulsion of Palestinian families from their homes in occupied East Jerusalem, escalated into an 11-day assault on Gaza. The Israeli offensive killed at least 260 people, including 66 children, in the besieged enclave, with 13 Israeli people, while 13 Israeli people died due to rockets fired by Palestinian armed groups. South Africa backs the Palestinian cause, with formal diplomatic relations established in 1995, a year after the end of apartheid. It downgraded its embassy in Tel Aviv to a liaison office in 2019. So basically, South Africa, their office at the Tel Aviv embassy was downgraded 2019, while we are giving status to the African Union in 2021. Makes no sense. The occupied Palestinian territory already has observer status at the AU, and pro-Palestinian language is typically featured in statements delivered at the AU's annual summit. So the AU already includes the Palestinian half of this area. You know what I'm saying? South Africa will ask Moussa Faki Mahamat, I hope I'm saying that right, chairman of the AU Commission, to brief member states on decisions, and it hopes the issue will be discussed at the level of heads of states and government. South Africa firmly believes that as long as Israel is now willing to negotiate a peace plan without preconditions, so let me read it again. South Africa conditions, it should not have observer status in the AU. All right. This is a hard-hitting subject, and I think that, for me, I'm just gonna speak open and honest because there's really no beating around the bush. I mean, quite frankly, we just don't want these people in Africa. We don't want this type of style of government in Africa. We're not looking for these specific groups of people to be included in anything we do in Africa. And I think that is a real issue that we're having as the diaspora is trying to move to Africa. We are essentially picking up and saying we can be excellent anywhere, and as a result, we have people that count on us for brain. People that have pretty much forced the brain drain of Africa, the people that have forced the brain drain of the Caribbean, counting on us to be their workers, following us to every corner. The African Union is of high importance to Israel now that the majority of the diaspora, the intelligent Black people, are leaving this place. And the reason why it seems that way to me is because, first of all, the position that they're in is strategic, right? They're in the top of Africa, which they consider the Middle East, and essentially, they've been armed by the United States and They have been armed by our government with plenty of weaponry and a lot of tactical training that is pretty much amounted to the second most impactful army in the world, the Israeli army. So what I'm trying to figure out is why now, and it seems to me that it's for the same reason why Facebook and Google are looking for African headquarters. And a couple of months, over the last year and a half, to take our laptop, travel the globe, impactful Africans, impacting the bottom line of these economies by bringing tourism dollars, much needed tourism dollars to some of these African countries. I mean, I heard someone say that they hadn't seen so many African American people in their life until these last, like, 15, 16 months. And to me, what that says to me is like, we don't really get out because we're too busy working and slaving for the corporations. And now that we're choosing Africa, the corporations are following us. And then it's like, okay, America can't, the United States is not going to pick up and just put their army everywhere. But they do have a very strong ally in the Middle East who has a vested interest in cracking into Africa. Because what Israeli people are looking for, and more specifically, to grow their own gene pool by which to grow their own population. And they have been knocking on the door of Africa for centuries. They really, really want to be a part of something that is genealogically. So essentially, what they want to do is they want to come to Africa. They see all the African American people coming here, all the UK and British Africans coming here, and they want to come to Africa and be your boss. They want to be on top of you the same way they're on top of you here. They want to be the ones who finance you the loans. They want to be the ones who sell you the diamonds, and they want to be the ones who develop the homes that you pay rent in or that you buy the condo in. And I just, my question is, don't they get enough? Don't they get enough of policing their own people? For me, I'm choosing Africa because I want freedom. I want freedom to be able to wake up every day and do as I please, and to also be able to self-govern. I want sovereignty over my own body. I don't want to feel like a corporation is going to now have power because we have people that represent the interests of the as observers in the African Union. So, quick question: how are we supposed to negotiate currencies? How are we supposed to, and obviously, how are we supposed to negotiate currency? How are we supposed to revalue Africa when we have Israelis cracking into the foundation of these discussions? Like, I understand they're observers, but just give it a couple of years before they're active participants. What we want is we want an opportunity to increase our economy without their involvement. Because what we've seen traditionally throughout the history of the world is that they come into other spaces that are not their own. Like, these people, genealogically, they're from Abyssinia. They're from old Persia, also known as Iran. They're from Afghanistan. These are people that I believe they really truly believe that they are the people that are in these great books, in these Bibles, in these scrolls. But if you trace back their genes, it really does not put them in Africa. And what they want so badly is to be African. They want to come to Africa. They see us doing it. So they figure if the Black Americans are doing it, so can we. We've got more resources. Except you don't have the genes. A lot of these African countries, in order for you to get citizenship, you have to have the genes. If you don't have the genes, you won't be granted citizenship. Yeah, you could try to, set up your little business, but your business is subject to high taxation and high tariffs, considering the fact that you're not a citizen. Israel is just looking to creep into Africa at the most opportune time while we're the ones doing the heavy lifting and rebuilding. The diaspora is pretty much responsible for the rebuilding of West Africa. We're going over there, we're bringing our money over there, we're bringing our skills over there, which is more important than money. We're reversing the brain drain. There has been a massive brain drain across the Caribbean, across Africa, Central and South America, and pretty much all black and brown nations, where they have taken the brightest of the brightest and brought them over here to America and the UK to work for them so that they can increase their own wealth simply because they could not do it themselves. Now, I know quite a few Jewish people. I'm from New York. I'm gonna tell you what, they don't want to be in Africa. They like Israel, but even they complain about how hot that is. They don't really want to come to Africa. They don't necessarily want to be around us in those high numbers. They don't want to look around and see that the majority of the place is black. They're not really coming to Africa to enjoy the cultures because, as you know, and if you live in Brooklyn, you understand that they don't enjoy other people's cultures. What they actually do is they come and push your culture to the side while they interject theirs. And their culture is one that is cold, callous, and it does not include anybody but them. And they lock out any genes of melanin. So, what is the vested interest of them having an observer seat in the African Union? Because our black bodies are going back to Africa, and they know that we are the most intelligent people. They know that we are the most creative people. We are the most, uh, um, we have the most ingenuity. We are the most athletic. We are the most beautiful. And they know these things. And so it seems like to me, and I don't know what your comments are, but it seems like to me the African continent will not be in a good way if we can't keep these Western thinkers outside of it. And that's not to say that I'm Western myself. I come from and like for example, let me show you how real it gets. Because construction Shit, I don't know what just happened. Sorry, guys. All right, look, like I was saying, I'm back. So, as I said before, I'm in a construction site, as you can see. I don't know why every time I step outside, I can't use this thing. The internet's really bad here anyway. Anyway, like I said before, I'm in a construction site in New York. As you can see, where I'm at, uptown. I think the diaspora is in a difficult position. I mean, we want to go to Africa and we want to help build and create things and create jobs and create opportunities. But for what? If we're going to go there and it's going to be a matter of letting the white people come in and swoop in, letting the Israelis come in and swoop in, it almost feels like a waste of time, don't you think? I'm going to go to Africa with a positive mindset to do the same things I do here in real estate. I'm going to end up doing the same things I do here in finance. I'm going to end up doing the same things I do here, hanging out and being beautiful. And I think we have to really start talking about what it means to defend the black body. You know, we can't be subject to control from nations like Israel who have fully stacked, when I say fully stacked armies, nations like Israel's army, we will not be able to compete with unless we are willing to really have the real conversation about what it means to protect us as the diaspora. We're going back home. So for us to have to deal with the same things we deal with here, like let me tell you something. In Brooklyn, I'm in Manhattan right now, but in Brooklyn, it's almost impossible as a black person to get a developer's license and to be able to get an opportunity to really get any real funds to develop your condominium offering or whatever. And that is very strategic. That's because these same people that are in the African Union are the same ones that are controlling all of the resources here in Brooklyn, here in New York. So if we think we're going to go to Africa and find some untouched black run circumstance, I mean, these people have been beating down the African Union for the last 20 years. I mean, if we look back at the look back at the article that I shared earlier, these people have been beating down the African Union for the last 20 years. They were on an outside group called, let's see, they were part of an outside group called OAU. But essentially, the OAU was disbanded in 2002, and so now the African Union has specifically made an effort to keep these people out here, and which I really think is crazy. Hey, yeah, this is Jackie. Sorry, I'm over here doing a live video. I'm going to, guys, I'm going to come back. We're going to talk about this a little bit more, but drop your comments underneath this video. We're going to get into the real reason why Israel wants to come into the AU. A little bit later, I'm going to post some other articles and we're going to really delve deep into it. So take a look at this and let's talk a little bit later in a couple hours. Thank you guys. Peace. Black Beauty is out. Bye. Okay, hi, Delta. Yeah. I knew you guys were going to pick up while I was in the middle of something. I've been on hold for 2 hours. Guys.